Social Security is almost out of money. They broke it. We bought it. This comes from the Congressional Budget Office, who just released a new report saying Social Security has just 9 years until it runs out of money. Why? Because it's a Ponzi scheme. It should not be, but it is. Basically, imagine you contributed to your pension company for 40 years, but they spent it all invading Ukraine. You turn 65, you ask for your money, and they say, poof, it is gone. So first, what does this mean? Social Security actually ran out of money a long time ago, or putting it more accurately, it never had any money, because giving Congress $1 for safekeeping is like giving a Kardashian a Botox gift card. The dirty little secret of Social Security was they took the money and they immediately spent every last dime. Like that scene in Indiana Jones where he swaps out the skull, they swapped out the money for IOUs, treasuries. For decades, those IOUs built up since Social Security was collecting more than it was paying out, but starting in 2010, it went negative. They were paying out more than they were collecting. They were losing or running down the IOUs. So when CPO says it will run out of money, it means the IOUs will be gone, at which point the full annual Social Security deficit, which is $150 billion and rising fast, goes straight onto the deficit. At that point, they either have to cut benefits, raise taxes, or eat it and let the deficit ride. So cutting benefits means starting benefits later, perhaps age 70 or 75. It could mean means testing benefits. So if you work hard and save, you lose your Social Security. Or the simplest, a 24% cut in benefits, perhaps disguised by playing with the inflation numbers so seniors do not realize they are getting robbed. The other way, of course, is taxes. You could tax a wider range of earnings. You could push beyond the $170,000 earnings cap. Or, again, the simplest, a 35% across-the-board hike in Social Security taxes, which would take payroll tax to just shy of 20% on top of income tax. Happily, there is a better way. Let people keep their Social Security accounts like a 401k. The country of Chile actually does this, so it does not spend the national pension. Instead, it makes you invest it like a mandatory 401k. You can put part in high risk that pays better. You can put it in low risk that pays less. The result is Chile's system is actually overfunded to the point that they're increasing pensions for poor Chileans. Why? Because in the 40 years their system existed, assets grew by over 8% per year after inflation. Now, to his credit, George W. actually proposed this 20 years ago, and the left-wing media attacked it as privatization, so it went nowhere. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Social Security is, unfortunately, a Ponzi headed for collapse, and it's accelerating. My colleague Rachel Gressler estimates that unfunded liabilities on Social Security are getting worse by over $1 trillion per year. That's on top of our $2 trillion deficit, and don't forget Medicare, which is even worse. The good news is it doesn't have to be this way. Other countries have shown how to manage a sustainable national pension. The bad news is fixing our national pension at this point would take many tens of trillions. Estimates start at $25 trillion for Social Security alone. And as always, they have served us up rusty nails and an old boot for dinner. It is up to voters to throw it away and make something else. A new episode of the Peter St. Onge podcast just dropped, rounding up all the week's top stories. Check it out at Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.